Hello and welcome to another edition on Entrepreneur TV, all about business. And there's something to really get your teeth into today. Yeah, you're going to have to excuse the pun. We have Liam from SmileSafe. Hello, Liam. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Liam, just for anybody who has not ever heard about SmileSafe, it deals with warranties, but just give a little bit of a background of how it started for you.
Sure. So how it started, I suppose, for myself, I've got a bit of I suppose, experience in different industries, and the most recent one being the dental industry. And part of my role within the dentist industry and the role that I've been in is to look at how we can optimise, grow, protect the patients, protect the treatments, as well as grow the revenue and protect the practices, bottom line, and so on. And there's loads of different ways in which you do that, but coming from places like the motor trade, that's essentially what their setups are. You know, you buy a car and then it's, you can have this with it as well, and this with it as well, and this with it as well, to protect paints or alloys or anything like that. And for myself, it was looking at, well, is there anything we can do with that? The big thing that you tend to see when people are coming in for high-end treatments, it's expensive, right? Very. Very expensive. And for me personally, if I was looking at 10 grand worth of veneers or 6 grand worth of bonding or 30 grand worth of immediate loads full teeth, I'd always have that element of, what if something goes wrong?
Yeah. But why do you think, though, it's taken such a long time for something like this to come out? Because like you've said, the motor trade, you've got all these different policies and things, even like, you know, you get your washing machine and you've got all these insurances. Why do you think it's taken such a long time with teeth?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. It's a difficult one, because when you do look at it, there are people that offer warranties on teeth and insurances on teeth, but it tends to be a lot of, you know, you go in and your teeth are all healthy, you can take out an insurance, so if anything goes wrong, that's covered. Yeah. There doesn't seem to be a dramatic amount that will protect to the full extent the cosmetic work that you may have had done. So when doing a bit of research and looking around, the UK just seems to be, as usual, a couple of years behind everyone else, because if you look abroad, Europe, America, it's quite a big deal. It is the norm. I was
going to say, the USA are really up on the old teeth market, aren't they?
Yeah, massively. And, you know, I've spoke to these people and connected with these people to understand, I suppose, similar question to what you asked on why. And no one really has that definitive answer, because it's a completely open field. It's completely you know, it's taken on board heavily by dental practices as well as dentists, because it protects their work and their chair time and patients as well. So it's very well received by everyone. And I think the most recent one that I spoke to, they look after quite a large field of it. Similar background to myself in the motor trade, and it's the same question of, I can get a warranty on a car with 10,000 moving parts. Why am I not able to do it on my teeth? It doesn't make sense. There's much less risk looking at that kind of thing versus washing machines and everything else that's around. It's just a bit of an open field at the minute, where there are people doing it, but no one's really grabbed onto it and done it to the full extent, or they're looking at the safest way of doing it, which is looking at your natural healthy teeth that are consistently healthy, to again reduce their risks. But ultimately, paying £10,000.
So you think that dentists in particular have really welcomed this because of the challenges that they face?
100%. And, you know, from a dental side, they've got a lot of risk when doing this stuff, which is why the treatment is so expensive. You know, if I was a dentist and I'm carrying out, again, I'll use immediate loads like teeth in a day, where they give you full teeth, top and bottom, remove any, if you've not got any, remove any that may need removing. To a dentist, that individual, they'll pay lab bills and everything to do with that. It'll take up a full day of their chair time, maybe 3 days with reviews and trials. So 3 days worth of work, £10,000 worth of lab bills and stuff like that. If anything goes wrong, they're also left exposed, because they've then got to weigh up the options of either they tell the patient, no, you've got to pay again, if the bridge breaks or anything breaks. And, you know, you look at these immediate loads, and it's a great example, because that's where the biggest risk is for a lot of people. It's all one bridge, so if just one teeth breaks, you can't just replace that one.
No, you've got to do the lot.
Exactly. So, you know, they've got to weigh up the risk of, right, do it yourself, Mr. Patient, you foot the bill again, which is going to leave them with bad reviews, which in this industry is going to kill you. It's really, really going to hurt your reputation, which is going to hurt your business. or you suck it up and you pay the £4,000 worth of lab bills plus all the additional chair time, lose out on your income. You as an individual suffers, your practice suffers. But those are the options, whereas this is a solution to that option where, yes, do the work, you'll get paid the retail value as if that patient paid again, but they're not paying again. So
No.
everyone's happy.
Everybody wins, because dentists at the minute do have a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
We've got all these people wandering over abroad. Turkey teeth is one, and they come back and they look like they've got like a full set of piano keys in their mouth, and then they've got a lot of pain, and then things go wrong. So the thing is that people in Turkey getting those treatments, they're not getting the warranties, really, are they?
No, not at all. And if someone goes over to Turkey, the big thing they're going to face is if anything does go wrong, what's their solution? Because if they look at having it dealt with in the UK, anything that a dentist does with that individual's mouth, they're now risking their indemnity because they become fully responsible for all of it.
Wow.
So if someone has 10 veneers and something needs inspection or there's an infection on the tooth and they go in and tamper around, they're now responsible for all of it.
Will they touch people like that, though? Will they help them? Or is it a case of where they're like, I'd rather not, thank you very much?
There's far too much risk, so unless there's heavy reward, you're going to struggle. So as an example, again, I'll use the immediate loads of take all the teeth out and put a new set in. I know. But where that is one of the largest treatments because it is £20,000 plus in the UK. In Turkey, it'll be £5,000 to £10,000, so it's a substantial difference. So we see it a lot there, but we also see infections, we also see implant failures, we also see bridges breaking. If they come over here, the only way a dentist will do it typically is if they pay for it all again, which is going to be whatever they've spent in Turkey plus the typical price it'd be over here as well.
But would that then be a great option then, if somebody has had a bad experience and they're going to say, right, okay, I'm going to do this properly? Would this then be a good idea for that type of person to then say, okay, I will have one of these warranties, and probably then the dentist would be happier to take that work on as well?
It's not something that they're I suppose, qualify for. So for someone to be able to take up the warranty, has to be done in the UK, has to be done by GDC registered, has to be done within the guidelines of the UK. If they're going abroad to have it done, it's outside of the remit. It's not so they use different systems, different materials, different quality of work, different regulations. There's too much risk. And I think looking at the Turkey side of things, as you said, what we're ultimately warranting is the craftsmanship and the product. The craftsmanship isn't great enough as a product, and that's why they come back looking like they've got
a set of piano keys in their mouth.
So everyone that's going to Turkey and coming back is potentially a risk. So it's not something that they'd be I suppose suitable for, wouldn't qualify for. So again, it's just additional risk to them as well.
The other thing is that dentists at the minute as well, they are stretched.
Oh, dramatically,
they are stretched. And do you know what do you see maybe somebody actually in the industry? Okay, you're doing the warranties and things and still doing dentistry. What do you think needs to happen to make this NHS dentistry, on private even dentistry now, you're on waiting lists for ages, even with a private dentist?
Absolutely.
What can we do to help fix it?
Yeah, I think the reason that, looking at the industry, why private dentistry has grown so dramatically, and even though it is growing, is still at capacity, and there's, a large wait list for people just coming for checkups or anything like that. The main reason for that is because the NHS haven't done anything to support and to grow. So the wait times within the NHS have grown. If we can reduce that, then it takes away a lot of people kind of having to go through the dental side, the private dentistry, and again, it becomes very, very expensive. But I think another side of it is people are also kind of looking at the NHS work carried out versus the private, and again, it's a different quality.
It is.
The NHS look quite heavily on kind of overseas dentists coming over. So yes, they've got qualifications on paper, they'll do a bit of work, but they'll go through the NHS before they can come out into the private sector. Yeah. So they'll do a couple of years. But because of that, again, there is a risk that they're not trained to the same level, as trained to the same standard. I believe the GDC have also just looked at recognising additional qualifications from abroad as well. So I think they've kind of gone the wrong way with it personally.
Yeah,
because
just a bit.
But in the same breath, it allows for more people to come over, more dentists, to come over and facilitate more work through the NHS. But again, I do think the quality will suffer because they're looking at recognising more qualifications that necessarily aren't the highest of standards. That, I believe, will reduce the NHS, but I just think it's going to push more toward the private side, because people may either go to the NHS and have a bad experience, or the filling they have might fall out after a couple of weeks, and they've got the option to either go back on another 6 months, 12 months, 18 months wait list, or pay a few £100 to go private. Some people are cornered on their options, but realistically, what options have you got? Right, you either wait, and then the tooth decays further, and the filling is now turned into an extraction, or you go private and get it fixed quickly.
But your service with the warranties in particular, I mean, they must help dentists with a lot of these headaches, like we've said. But what does this warranty actually cover? What are some of the things? So if somebody sees your policy and thinks, oh, what am I getting for this? And what are the type of costs involved for getting one of these warranties?
Sure. So I suppose there's two sides to that. So the cost to the dental practice is absolutely nothing. All it is that the partnership with us, so they provide the warranty, and it's an optional purchase for the patient. That patient, the cost to them is 15% of the treatment. So if it's £10,000, £1,500 for the 5-year cover, and it covers them for as many claims as they need to have within that teeth, and it's not a like for like.
Is it just for that treatment though? Just say for the 5 years, does it just cover them? Say if they were having a crown done, it would just cover them then for the crown, or would it for other issues within the mouth?
Just the crown, but that tooth. So if the tooth under the crown failed and needed an extraction, that'll pay for that extraction, or if it needed
got infected or
root canal, anything like that, then it'll cover it to put the smile back to where it should be, or where that individual wants it. So cost to the dentist practice, absolutely nothing. It's an optional thing for a patient to protect their smile. Fully covers cosmetic treatments, so anything from an inlay, onlay, crown, composite filling, all the way up to the immediate loads, and anything in between, really, veneers, composite bonding, aligners, whitening. The only thing it won't cover is an extraction, so no tooth to cover. So there's nothing there. But yeah, it just gives them full, and it's very, very black and white. The only stipulation for the patient is you come in and you have your hygienes every 6 months, and you keep your teeth in good health. That's it. That's it.
And you know, how often though do things go wrong? Because you see this, being in dentistry, and you know, Mrs. Jones has just been in for a lovely crown. How often do they, or can they play up that would make somebody think, this policy that I'm getting is going to be worthwhile?
Absolutely. The reality is the failure rate within dentistry, especially in private, because it is so heavily regulated, and you know, you have to be highly qualified to be able to do it. The risk factor is around 3%, if not less, within the UK. So someone going in and having treatment, the risk of failure, whether it's on implant or veneer, is very, very low, but it's never zero. And I think that's what we're doing, is offering someone that peace of mind where, yes, nothing should go wrong. Everything's done to an incredibly high standard, but stuff happens. And that's what we're protecting against. And I think ultimately, I suppose it's my kind of thought process on it is, yes, nothing should go wrong. Have I got a plan if it does?
Yeah, and have you got the money to fix it if it does?
Exactly.
Have you got that extra money in your bank account to fix it?
The majority of people looking at private treatments have either seen it for a while and have been saving a lot of money, or taken out a loan, or done it on a credit card, and aren't in a position to pay £10,000. And if it goes wrong, it's fine, I'll pay another £10,000. Not many people are in that position. And that goes from high end, but even to, you know, £500 crown, something like that. It's a lot of money, and it's not something that people tend to have just laying around and laying around to spend or willing to spend on having it done again. But again, their options are to either kick off with a dental practice, well, it shouldn't have happened, shouldn't have fallen out, shouldn't have broken, whatever, and hope they get fixed, pay, or have it warranted. So that way there is no conflict and there is no issue. But again, a lot can happen in 5 years.
Yeah,
a lot can happen.
And that's the other thing I wanted to ask you. We're just going to use Mrs. Jones again with her crown. Mrs. Jones goes abroad with her crown, but she's got this policy. What happens then if, say, you know, she bites on something tasty abroad and breaks it or damages it? Absolutely. What actually happens when they're abroad?
Staying abroad or just on holiday? Or?
Yeah, on holiday.
Yeah. not much we can do while they're abroad, because they'd have to come back and see their clinician or the dental practice that initially did the treatment.
These podcasts wouldn't be possible without our amazing sponsors. Make sure you support them too and check out their website. At SmileSafe, we're here to protect your smile for the long term. With our comprehensive 5-year dental warranties, patients enjoy peace of mind on every treatment, knowing their treatment is covered, whilst dental practices benefit from enhanced patient trust. As the UK's leading dental warranty provider, SmileSafe sets a new standard in patient care and practice success. Smile brighter, smile with confidence. Visit smilesafe.co.uk to learn more.
Again, we're looking at for either fault in the craftsmanship or the product. If Mrs. Jones is biting on something, the crown falls out. Product fault, right? Not meant to do that. So she'd have to go back in and see her ABC Dental or whoever it may be to get that booking. But from what she'd have to do is have a consultation with that dentist so they can do scans, retake, to have the crown refitted. They'd create it in their labs, whether it be a week wait, 2 week wait, whatever, and she'd just come in and have it fitted.
Could she basically have then emergency treatment abroad?
No.
Oh, so that's interesting.
Yeah, so you have to be, it's different. It has to be in the UK, but if you move up and down the UK away from your practice, you're fine. You're covered to
That's
go
fine.
to ABC Dental in Scotland versus down in London, whoever it might be. But in a different country, no, not covered. Not at the moment, but like I said, we do these dental warranties. They are in Europe, they are in America, so it's not something that we currently do, but it's not something that's off the grid either. It is something that, you know, everyone's in partnership within it, and, you know, the group that kind of, the insurer who backs it all is the one who backs them all. So like Europe, America, and so on. So it's, yeah, there's nothing to say it can't be done, but at the moment it's not. It
may be in the future.
Exactly, yeah. I think, again, the main reason we want to stay away from it as well is that risk factor. The quality of work abroad is different to the quality of the work in the UK.
And I think that's really sort of hitting home, isn't it? Because people, I think they take their teeth for granted.
100%.
You know, they're quite happy to go and spend maybe $5,000 on a nice kitchen and things like that because they can see the benefits of it. But when it comes to like something in your mouth that you use every day, they forget, don't they?
Of course I do, yeah, absolutely.
How do you think we could encourage more dentists into the industry? Because I know that that's been one thing that a few people have said, you know, we're lacking in dentists. Okay, we can maybe get them from abroad. But, you know, homegrown talent that's actually gone through, because everybody wants to be a social media influencer or whatever now. How can we make dentistry sort of sexy again?
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I think, you know, working in dentistry, it depends what you're looking for as an individual, right? In dentistry, you look at it, and the people who are dentists, you got different types. You've got your ones who are in your NHS or in your GPs who are just doing run-of-the-mill, just basic. And I think that's what a lot of people look at when they think of dentist, in a bit of a, I don't want to be offended, a bit of a drab kind of dental practice with very little happening and TV on the wall that's not turned on and no music playing and all you can hear is the drills of everything in the background. And I think no one wants to go into that, right? I wouldn't want to work in that environment, you know. So I think it's changing the perception of it as well, because the reality is the dentists who are passionate about it and want to do it and do great at it, there's no limits to what they can do. You get the majority of them will then turn into owning their own dental practices that are run more like a spa treatment instead of a dental practice where it's lovely music, all beautiful setup. And, you know, the income that they earn, yes, they've got risk, but the income that they earn from it can give people an incredible lifestyles.
And I think as well, though, this is another point I want to touch on, because people say, oh, you know, this work for my mouth cost X amount of money, but they don't understand actually the equipment cost for the dentist, actually for having the rents, the staff and everything else. It is quite an expensive field to be in, though, isn't it?
Absolutely, everything down to the indemnity insurance that they have to pay for, anything like that, phenomenal amount of money, and all the staff. But again, the reason for the cost a lot of the time is because of the risk that they're taking. If I, as a dentist, went and did something to Mrs. Jones's teeth and something went wrong, they should take me to court, right?
Yeah.
that is a go-to for a lot of people, is threatening with suing and doing all this, regardless if I've done everything in best view of the patient if they deem it as this isn't the crown that I want, this isn't how I wanted my smile to look, and it's very kind of like opinionated. Again, my options are to either say it's what we've done and you agree to it, or fine, I'll do it again and it's costing me money and my lab fees and everything like that.
But that's what's good about the warranties as well, though, on the side of the dentist, isn't it?
100%, yeah. It's there to protect them, the practices, their bottom line, their chair time, because it is, although yes, it's expensive for a patient to have treatment done, it's expensive for a dentist to do it. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And you must have had some real success stories with it over the years. Give us one. Give us one success story where you think, wow, it was a good job that policy was actually put in place.
Okay, cool, fine. So I think one of the bigger ones is, I'll not use names, but Mr. Smith. He, quite a rough one. He came into a bit of an inheritance, and in that inheritance, it allowed him to be able to have full teeth done. So don't want to sound disrespectful, he didn't look after his teeth, so and therefore they were crumbled, gone. The only solution was to remove full clearance, new teeth top, new teeth bottom. There's different ways in which you do it, different materials, but it went for quite a premium one because it's something he's always felt quite self-conscious about and a bit, just one of those things. People with bad teeth, you feel wary, you smell, right? So he'd done it, he spent beyond his inheritance because he ended up having to take a little bit on finance as well. So all his inheritance went on to creating this smile. And then through that, after that, he's gone away emotionally happy as you would be once you finally got the smile you're dreaming of. And gone away, and then later down the line, there's been an issue where implant fails. Fine, no big deal to start with, right? No problem. Get it in, screw out, change it. The bigger one is when the bridge breaks. Now, so this shouldn't happen, never happen, but I think it's difficult for some people as well because they're either not educated sometimes by a dentist on what they should be eating while they've got these artificial teeth in. You shouldn't really be biting into apples or having hard candies and stuff like that people do. And again, if one of the teeth breaks on these because it's a full bridge, it all needs replacing. So this gentleman, broke one of his teeth. It were in his front one as well, so it's not one he could really cope with or have absolutely devastated. But it was quite a while down the road as well, so it's at the point where the dentist is like, there's not much I can do. I've done my part, product's doing great, it's on you a little bit. The product, has it failed? Yes, I suppose, because it's broke it. Is it due to you? Up in the air, because patient's never going to say, I chewed on a brick. I chewed on something I shouldn't be. So as you can imagine, this guy, devastated. But he was covered. And I think the good thing is with that is this guy got so emotional, spent all the money that he got, inherited. He's not getting that money again. It's not from savings, it's not from job. His options were at that point, if he wasn't warranted, to either have these bridges that are going to be really no good for him and uncomfortable, or get himself in a masses of debt to replace it. But the guy's fully covered. So although yes, we do feel he's probably eating something he shouldn't have eaten, the reality is we're going to take the dentist's word for it. So us from our side, we'll take the dentist's word. If the dentist is saying product's failed, fair enough. I'm not asking for scans, I'm not asking for evidence. I'm not a dentist, I can't tell you if you're wrong or right. So fine, pay out, there you go. So the guy was able to get his new bridge and go away, hopefully with the right information on care and how to look after him.
Do you think he learnt his lesson?
It's hard to say, innit? Hopefully.
Was that toffee apple just a little bit too tempting, do you think, to bite into? And then
we'll find out, won't we, if we see him again?
So how do you keep these policies, though, affordable? Are you hoping that the price can eventually come down, the more practices that take it on and the more patient uptake?
Definitely. We have got in at 15%, and I feel it's a reasonable cost, but I can also understand that it does push the budget up as well.
Yeah.
For us, what we need to look at is mitigating risk, and at the moment there isn't a dramatic amount of data other than the odd bits online that says this is how much an average repair costs, this is how much an average claim would be, this is how often it's going to happen, this is so until we've got that data, we have to put ourselves in a position where we're like, right, we know the failure rate's around 3%, let's go way above that. So if we are wrong or the data's wrong, we're still completely fine, as patients are still completely fine, as practices are still completely fine, and everyone's happy. And then when we do get the data and we can look at it, we can look at bringing that cost down. or the other side of it as well, doing a bit of both, because we actually pay the practices as well. So if a practice
Right.
sells a warranty,
Yep.
we give them a substantial amount of it. We pay them 70% of the warranty cost, so they get quite a dramatic amount of it. So we've got numbers and percentages that we can work with to ensure that everyone's protected. But the ideal goal would be is make it affordable for everyone, and protect as many people as possible, because that's the goal. Keep everyone who's parted with hard-earned money protected, safe, secure, and just keep the industry flowing as well as we can.
I mean, you're clearly passionate about this. I mean, I was having a chat with you beforehand, and it's something that you've really got a drive and a passion to do with this business. What drives you in the morning? What drives you to get up in the morning and do it? Is it actually knowing that you're doing a good service for somebody and you're going to help somebody today?
Definitely. Every conversation that we have with either a principal owner or a principal dentist or anything like that around what we do is met with nothing but positive. We've been looking for something this sounds too good to be true, all those kind of things, and it's amazing to be able to offer that to other businesses, but also see patients walking away where if something does happen, they don't have to have the anxiety and the stress and the worry of how am I going to fix it. They're fine, they're good, they can just go back, get it sorted, and everyone's content. There's no awkward conversations that have to happen. It's just dealt with. So for me, I think it's being able to provide that to an industry which hasn't changed in such a long time.
And I was just about to lead on to that. If there's one thing that you tomorrow had the power to change in the whole of the dental and teeth industry, what would it be?
The availability to get it done, right? The wait times, the people, because we see people suffer in these dental practices who've been having to deal with pain, discomfort for so long. I genuinely had people who have, it sounds bad, glued the teeth back in, created wooden teeth because they just either can't deal with the pain or can't deal with being unable to chew foods and stuff like that. That isn't really a position we should be in 2024, where people are having to go to these drastic measures just to be able to have teeth in the mouth. So for me, it'd be able to facilitate as many people and just make sure not everyone wants a Hollywood smile, which makes sure they can eat the food comfortably. I think that should be a bare minimum, right?
And if you had one message to basically sell a policy to somebody, to say to them, look, come on, because I know you're going to pay for this treatment, but I would strongly urge you. What would you say to somebody who's in that position now, maybe watching, thinking, I'm going to have some treatment, but I'm trying to do it on the cheap?
Yeah, well, and this is the thing, it doesn't suit everyone's budget, but I think the biggest thing is, if you're not having it, what's your plan? Hopefully nothing goes wrong, but if it does, have you got a plan in place? If not, then you need it, because if something does go wrong, you're then stuck in the situation which I've just mentioned, where you either can't afford to have your teeth, eating food's uncomfortable, whatever it might be, and no one needs to be in that position.
And the payment of it actually itself, is it a lump sum payment that they have to pay, or can they pay it in instalments?
Sure. So the way it works is they buy it through their dental practice, so their dental practice on board with us, and we supply it to the dental practice. So when they're going through a treatment plan and a breakdown of whatever work it is they're doing, it'd be included in there as a kind of line of the costing on there.
Right.
So they pay it however they're paying that dental practice.
That's interesting then. So if somebody's thinking, crikey, I've got to find this extra money all of a sudden, then it could be worked out within their dental treatment and it ease the cost.
Correct, yeah. I mean, in cosmetic dentistry, I don't know of any thinking about it that don't offer a finance option for patients, and it'd just be rolled into that finance option as well. So whether they do it over 12 months up to 5 years, typically, it's up to them. Or if they pay it in a lump sum, it's up to them. But whatever options their dental practice offers are the same options that they can take the warranty out over as well.
Well, Liam, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here today, explaining a little bit more. But I do like to give you one sort of fun question before we leave. If there was any job in the world that you could do, and it's nothing to do with dentistry, what would it be?
Oh my God. It's going to be something terrible and lame. Streamer.
A streamer?
Streamer, yeah. Sit at home, play games. People pay me money to do it. have some drinks, have some pizza, and then I'm done for the day, and that's my work.
So
Nice and easy.
It's not going to be something like you wouldn't develop a game then about extracting teeth or anything like that, no?
No, I'll play the games that someone else has developed, and people can pay me to do it. Sounds great.
Sounds great in theory, doesn't it? Well, thank you very much, Liam, and you've been an absolute delight. And, you know, if you are sat there and you're thinking, you know, what can I do as a career? I would strongly suggest that maybe you look at the industry, because not only can it give you good financial reward, but also, I mean, the reward of actually helping people and their suffering and their pain is on another level.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if you're sat there and you're thinking, what could I do for a business or a job or go into a vocation? Liam recommends it. Anyway, thank you very much, Liam.
Not a problem. Thank you.